And a good Tuesday to you. The Mariners are in Cleveland to begin a 9-game road trip after sweeping Texas. Seattle has a 43-31 record. Cleveland leads the American League Central with a 44-25 mark. Now, Bryce Miller will get the start for Seattle. In fact, that game's already underway on Root Sports Northwest. Speaking of Root Sports, Jen Mueller hosts a cooking show called I'll Cook, You Measure, which can be seen on Root Sports and here on the NCWLIFE channel. Miller was a guest with Jen and said when he was in high school, he used to hold many jobs with a river tubing company.
Fun fact, I worked at a couple restaurants back in the day.
You did?
If you consider a place on the river.
Yes.
Like on the Comal River, it's not really a restaurant, it's river food, right? So you cook
hot dogs?
Hot dogs, yeah, and hamburgers, that kind of stuff.
So you were the grill guy for hot dogs?
Yeah, it depended on what my job was that day, but sometimes I drove the bus, sometimes I cooked.
So for people who don't know, the reason you would drive a bus is you grew up in New Braunfels. The river is right there. One of the things that you do is go tubing down the river. And you have to get a bus to get you from one spot to the other because you don't end up in the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd be like 16, 17. They'd be like, somehow I ended up driving the bus. It's like a full bus with a trailer. Probably, I don't know, somehow I ended up doing that sometimes. But usually I was in the kitchen, kind of.
I'm gonna guess they didn't have you do a lot of cutting in the kitchen. That was quite possibly the most haphazard way I have ever seen.
Watch for I Cook, You Measure on YouTube, as well as the NCWLIFE channel, Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sunday nights at 10:30. Well, the Seahawks wrapped up mandatory minicamp a day early last week. Coach Mike Macdonald was impressed with how hard the team worked during the week-long camp and rewarded them with an early exit.
Really just couldn't be happier with the effort. That's what I was just telling him, just the effort, the intent, the energy, the attitude, all the things we're asking them to do, they responded every day, and just really excited about where we're at, and we've been going at it here. We had the extra week being the new staff and everything, so felt like it was an opportunity to get out of here healthy and have a great off season. Well, I hope we're building what we're trying to build. I think we're on our way. But shout out to our coaches too. We just try to take advantage of every meeting and just stack all those meetings over and over and over again. Stack every opportunity we've had on the field, and just felt like it was time to say, okay, I think we've gotten great work in, and let's get the heck out of here.
I think it benefits us in creating matchups where you're putting the defensive player in the best position, and then you're also confusing the offense. So it makes it harder for the offense to study us, knowing that they may see Draymond at a 5 technique on film, and then when we line up and play against them, he's probably going to be playing 0 or 3 technique. So it's harder for our offense to scheme against one specific player because we move around so much. And then it's also given us freedom as players to use our best skill sets in the best situations. And the coaches are doing a good job of knowing that we're all different. So he's, even though he might say get from point A to point B, he's going to tell me to get there differently, or he'll allow me to get there differently than the way Jay Reed will get there. And I think to me that takes a great coach to understand that we're different players, and even though we can do the same job, we may do it differently.
Meanwhile, the offense has been getting used to the new scheme being installed by offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. Wide receiver DK Metcalf likes what he sees so far.
Like you said, man, it's pretty early. I've only been here a couple of days throughout the off season, but from the days I've been here, I like Coach Grubb, his motivation, how every day he's strictly the same person. He's always motivating us to be our best selves. So that's one thing I like about him. And this offense, I think, it has a lot of potential to be great. Especially with the weapons that we have in our receiver room, tight end room, running back room, and even the O-line, the veteran leadership that we brought in this offseason. I think it has potential to be special.
Players are off until August when they'll reassemble for training camp. The Seahawks' first preseason game, August 10th at the Chargers in L.A. Congratulations to Wenatchee's Evan Canfield, who was named the Moss Adams West Coast League Pitcher of the Week for last week. Canfield pitched 8 shutout innings against the Kamloops North Paws last week at a 2-1 victory. The right-hander from Edmond, CC, lowered his ERA to .60 while striking out 8 in the game. He's 1-0 on the season and in 3 appearances has allowed just 1 earned run. How about that? Meanwhile, the AppleSox fell to the Dub C Fish Sticks at home last night in a non-league game 5-4. The voice of the AppleSox, Joel Norman, says 4 errors proved to be costly last night.
Wenatchee came back from a 3-0 deficit, but could not come back from falling behind a second time, as their 4 errors really hurt them in Monday night's contest. Jaden Holloway went 2 for 4 at the plate, including a RBI single hit in the 4th inning. Jonathan Fitz also tied the game with an RBI single in the 5th. But again, the AppleSox could not pick up the victory against the Fish Sticks. Wenatchee returns to league action on Tuesday night, and they look to build off of their 12-3 start to the season. They are 2 games ahead of Edmonton for first place in the North Division standings in the first half, with 12 games remaining in it, and are off to their best start to the season in league action since 2012. First pitch at County Stadium is at 6:35 p.m. With your AppleSox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Yakima Valley is coming into tonight's game off a series win over Walla Walla. The Pippins beat the Sweets last night 9-2. Yakima Valley is 9-6 on the season, good enough for 3rd in the WCL's South Division. Now Corvallis is running away with the South, off to a 13-1 record. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Tuesday.